Hey everyone, AYBL Main here, coming back at you with my top 5 albums for every year that I've been alive. We're at year 21, it's 1989, we're getting ready to close out the 80s, and these are my top 5 albums. Making it into the top 5 is the Pixies, Doolittle. I ran kind of the forward and back around this album when I was doing a little bit of Pixies dive in, and this is by far my favorite. It's got Wave of Mutilation on it. Here Comes Your Man, Monkey's Gone to Heaven, all great songs. Very interesting sound, the Pixies, and you definitely should check those guys out if you've never listened to them before and you want something totally different. Pixies is the way to go. Also in my top 5 is Bob Dylan's Oh Mercy. Probably one of the albums that gets mentioned the least, that I think is the best by Bob Dylan. Great lead-off track with Political World. Also, Most of the Time is on this album. It's a solid album all the way through. I don't think it gets enough credit in Bob's catalog, maybe because, it is the late 80s and nobody has any expectations about music during that time. But you definitely should check it out. Also in my top 5 is my favorite Beastie Boys album, which is Paul's Boutique. Now, when it first came out, I'll be honest, after listening to License to Ill, you kind of feel like you're disappointed when you're listening to Paul's Boutique because it's nothing like that at all. But it's actually, hindsight being 2020, it's better. The sampling is so much better. The Beasties back and forth rap style and overlay is so much better. Check out the songs Hey Ladies, and my favorite song is High Plains Drifter off the album. Probably my favorite Beastie Boys song of all time, actually. So all worth listening to for sure. Also in my top 5 is the debut album for the Stone Roses. This is such a fantastic album. Stone Roses kind of ended the jangle pop era in the 80s. And then also, I feel like they were like a precursor to what Britpop would be in the early part of the 90s, probably like 93 and 94 when it started to kick off. I think this album played a big, huge part in that. What was disappointing is that their follow-up album, Second Coming, was just so bad that sometimes I think that it's got lost in history. But if the debut album for the Stone Roses, you should check out. You can't miss it. It looks like it's a Jackson Pollock painting on the front of it, so check it out. But my winner for the year is Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever. Kind of a no-brainer. I think it was immediately something I wrote down when I got to 1989. Tom, big fan of all of his work. He's not even when he's with the Heartbreakers or he's doing solo or he's with the band Mudcrutch. It's all good material. This album's got You're So Bad on it, and Free Falling and Running Down a Dream was a huge hit, and it's just a tremendous song, a great cruising song if you want to do that with Tom. For the album that everybody said that I would love, but I actually didn't, I'm going to have to say that it was Bonnie Raitt's Nick of Time. And before you go hating all over me, hear me out a little bit. I do listen to blues quite a bit, but I listen to the traditional blues stuff, listen to, Robert Johnson, and I like Lightning Hopkins and, and B.B. King and Howling Wolf and all that stuff. So for me, blues always came from this very dismal, dark place, some type of crushing inner soul turmoil, not this well-produced pop sound that Nick of Time is. Now, I appreciate the fact that she's got a great voice, she can play the instruments very well, and I like the style, but just don't like blues coming at me in that fashion. I really don't. So it just didn't appeal to me at all. Maybe on a second or third listen, I might change my mind a little bit. But for now, that's the album that everybody said I would love, but I didn't. So we're getting ready to go into the 90s next time around, guys. It's going to be some interesting music changes. Some lines are going to get blurred, and stick with me on this journey. Talk to you guys later.